Hey everybody, Big Daddy here. We're back in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and today we will be bringing you a guide for the first Arc Tempered monster to be released in the Iceborne DLC, which will be Arc Tempered Namielle. Now, we'll be going over the fight changes. There are 4 major fight changes with her, and then after we go over the fight changes, we'll be going over her armor and her armor skills, and what they could mean for the meta. So first and foremost, the biggest change between Arc Tempered Namielle and Tempered Namielle, for anybody that hasn't fought an Arc Tempered before in Vanilla World, is they hit a lot harder and they have almost 2 times the amount of health that even their Tempered counterparts have. So the second change, even though not as major as the first, is that she starts off in and goes to different zones than even her Tempered counterpart. So instead of starting off in the top of the Coral Highlands where either Legiana or Kieran would sleep, she starts off in the bottom, in the area that Evil and I call Lily Pads, which is Area 4. From there, she will go to Area 5, which has a big mushroom in the middle of it. And from there, after you do a certain amount of damage to her there, she will go to the area Pink Rathian would sleep, which is Area 10. And then depending upon whether you did enough damage to her there or not, she will either go to Area 12, or she will go to Area 8, which is your central area and is now her sleeping zone. Now, the biggest problem with that is that she will no longer be within range of any walls that you can wallbang her into even after you wake her up. So that's going to kind of limit your options that you can do as far as, finishing her off with any serious amounts of damage, other than your normal wake her up with bombs. Or you can actually take her and lower her to the walls and use that to your advantage, but she doesn't start off there, so keep that in mind. So the third major change is going to be how much of an impact that she has upon her environment. What I mean by this is that when you normally face her, she doesn't really have a whole lot of, even when she uses her water breath or her tidal wave or whatever, she doesn't normally cover an area completely in water that she can use to conduct her electricity and throw more tidal waves at you and everything else. But with her Arc Tempered version, she does. The amount of water that this dragon puts out is ungodly. Combined with her ability to affect more of it at a time, makes it really, really difficult to get close to her. As well as all of her jumping attacks, her pouncing attacks, whenever she uses her electricity. Her electricity now expands further out with those attacks as well. But not only that, but her paws, where she'll paw the ground, or even her tidal wave. Now, instead of being mostly in a straight line, if she's standing in the middle of a pool, she shoots out from the back of her front paws. She shoots waves out towards that way. So the only real safe place when you're fighting her, when you can see that she's rearing back and you're ready to do a tidal wave, is getting behind her unless you put your shield on. Finally, for her fourth and probably her most impactful change, is that she has increased the frequency of her attacks to the point where she's able to chain a hop into a tidal wave, or a hop into a breath, or a dash into a water beam, in a succession that we haven't seen with her base or her tempered forms. Now, upon that as well, she has a new attack, if you can call it that, where when she flies up in the air, and she used to dip one of her wings into a puddle of water and electrocute it once, and then she'll float away and stop. Now she will do that 4 or 5 times in succession, and then finally end up with the double dip and then hit the ground, or land back on the ground. But with that as well, combining that with the previous change of her having more water that she puts everywhere, the frequency that she uses her ultimate and the area that it can encompass in that electricity is ludicrous. And the final thing to add on to the fourth part is that her breath, or her water beam specifically, not just her tidal wave, or her tidal wave does it as well, but as you guys will see, I'm going to show a difference here between her tempered and now her Arc Tempered form with her water beam. Where with her tempered form, it will only hit you once. Even if you have Rocksteady on, it'll only hit you once. You've got time to get out of the way. The water beam from her Arc Tempered form hits you multiple times in succession. I'm actually kind of happy they added that physic, but also a little bit annoying because it has killed me before. which to be fair did make the fight more interesting. So now when it comes to her armor and her armor skills, it's really not that impressive. I mean, it's great if you don't want to ever get hit ever. Like, if you constantly want to be dodging back and forth and strafing to get in and out of attacks, it's great. For survivability, it's great. Like, if you were able to put health boost or divine blessing in this, it would be a great set to use if you're struggling against a monster and just want to make sure that you don't get hit. But with that, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of damage just because the true element acceleration that you get from this is not going to stack up to the Safi bonus or even the Silver Rathalos bonus. Even if you do use the Kiara weapons that have the inlay critical element. So with her helmet, you have all 3 points of stamina surge, pointed tool specialist with a 4 socket and a 2 socket. With her chest, you got 4 points of evade window with 2 points of water attack with 4 socket. All 3 points of marathon runner and a point of blight resistance with a 4 socket and a 2 socket in her gloves. A 4 socket, a 2 socket, 3 points of evade extender, and 2 points of recovery speed with her coil, her waist. And finally with her boots, you got 4 out of 5 points of constitution and 2 points of thunder attack with a 4 socket. So like I said, it's not a great armor set, but you know, maybe every in-game monster we have or that they're going to put out in the future, it doesn't have to be game breaking, but I was really hoping for something more than this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ding the notification bell, and we will see you on the next one. Good luck out there, hunters.